Hey, finally got some nice weather in the North Woods. I got the 2019 Outback on the far side there about a month and a half ago, and I promised I would do a walkthrough video, and I just haven't had any good weather until now. Yeah, I'm gonna give it a go. I thought what better way to show off the new 2019 than to have it sitting right next to an older model. That one closest to me is a 2017. And we're going to take a look at the differences between the two, and some of the differences are quite stark, and some are subtle, and some things stayed the same. We'll take a look at all of that. I took the seats off. They were in the way for doing width measurements as well as length measurements. So I think we'll start there and have a look at the seats from the 2019 and the 2017. First thing we're going to look at is the width. So this was what appears to be the widest point on the 2017. Right there. I get 35.5 inches to the outside, so we got to subtract an inch for the width of the ruler. So we're 34.5 on the 2017 Outback. Let's see what the 2019 is. Alright, by eyeball, I'm saying this is the widest point on the 2019. So slide that in until the straight edge hits. Right there. Right there. I get 35 3/4 and subtract an inch for the width of the ruler to get back to where we belong. That's 34 3/4. So that's only a 1/4 inch different from the 17 to the 19. Somewhere I picked up that they were 2 inches wider, the new ones. I was either misinformed or misunderstood because they're virtually identical. 1/4 inch. I'm coming up with a 1/4 inch difference. Let's look at the length. Okay, for the length we will start with the 2017 again, just to keep our comparison same. I'm going to start from the part that's plastic. I'll do the same thing on the 2019. Anything that could provide buoyancy. I'm not going to count the rudder, just hull for the total length. So, we'll start essentially right there. Let's see what we come up with for total length on the 2017. I get 11'9". Alright, now for total length on the 2019 Outback. This was a little trickier, but like I said, I'm going to use the plastic, any bit of plastic that could still provide buoyancy as my starting measuring point. So instead of starting here, I'm going to start here. So keep that in mind. If that makes a difference to you, that's about an inch right there. Total length for the 2019. Let's have a look. Right there, basically, I get 12 foot 6.5. 11.9 on the 2017. 12 foot 6.5. So 9.5 inches longer on the new Outback. That's pretty significant. So, width, not much difference between the two. Virtually identical. Overall width. We're going to look at the underside in a little bit. That's where, to me, the biggest surprise came. But before we do that, let's look at the inside. There's quite a bit of difference on the inside of the kayak, dimensionally speaking. ergonomically speaking, in my opinion. Let's take a look. Inside dimensions. Again, starting with the 2017. And if you get confused in this video, well, which one was this, which one was that? The 2017, the older model, is this ivory and dirt color. The 2019 is the camo. First thing you can notice is the round hatch. The other one has a square hatch. Bigger. I can fit a lot more stuff in there. This area, as far as flatness, pretty much the same. Okay. But this one, from radius to radius right here, 16 inches. And it tapers down from there. 14 inches there. So we got 16 inches width of standing room, and then it narrows up to 14, but also it takes a dive right off of here. So when you're trying to stand in this one and flip pads or timber or whatever reason you have to stand while you're fishing, you basically get this little 16-inch area right here. It works. It's a nice stable kayak. No complaints. But that one's significantly different and significantly better as far as standing area. This where it tapers off right here is huge. I mean, I stood there when I had to, but it's uncomfortable. Basically all you had was this little flat area right here. Let's take a look at the 19. Alright, recap. We had 16 inches tapered down to 14 toward the front, and the floor dove off at, I'm going to say, a 20 to 30 degree angle. The 2019 is, I don't know if you can see that or not. You're going to have to trust me if you can't see it. 18 and a half. So 2.5 inches wider at the start. And where the other one was 14, this one is still 17 inches wide. And notice it stays flat. It doesn't dive off like that. Those few inches might not sound like a lot, but when you're standing up in a kayak and fishing, that's huge. It feels a lot bigger when you're standing in it, the 19. One more thing I want to look at on the inside. This back deck area changed quite a bit. You no longer get the hatch, but this hatch was not very useful for anything anyway. But the width of the back deck at the widest point is 18 inches. The length of usable flat area to the radius is 24 inches. 18 by 24. Back deck on the 2019, 18 inches again, same as that one. 33 and a half in length. That's huge. It's 11 inches, 11 and a half inches longer. Does it make a difference? Yeah, you bet it does. I carry a ridiculous amount of stuff with me. Anyone who's ever fished with me will tell you that. I can get the H crate in here, and I usually stack literally 20 to 25 pounds in a bag of soft plastics in front of that. And it was a squeeze in that one. I got room I don't even use in this one, and I still have room in the back. I can tuck my lunch back here, whatever. That's huge. I love that. This is going to be a tough shot to shoot. I hope it comes out. To me, one of the most significant and meaningful changes from the fishing standpoint is the underside of the hull. there's some big differences between the 2017 and the 2019. I got my trusty yardstick here again. You can see the pontoon area of the 2017. I can't tell if I'm holding that straight or not. Roughly there. How much higher it is here from the V area. Okay, on the 2019, you can see the pontoon in relation to the V is a lot lower in the water. And I'm just measuring it here on the back. I can't measure and show you further up. But if you look down the sight line, I hope that's right. If you sight line down this pontoon, you can actually see it goes down quite a bit more. It's probably down there, it's probably lower than this. What that means is there's more buoyancy pushed below the water line. That's what is buoyancy, right? That means this boat is a lot more stable to stand in. Can you feel the difference? Yes, you can. It's significantly more stable to stand in. I've fished with it enough now. I can tell you it is much more stable. So now I'm going to show you something that when I was talking to other fishermen at the boat show and highlighting all the new changes in the 2019, there's some things you can't see until you get the thing home. I noticed this as soon as I tried to put it on the trailer. I have these PVC bunks that flex and follow the hull line and support the kayak very safely. It works really well. As soon as I put the 2019 on the trailer, I noticed it didn't fit. I've got a 2014 up there. I've had a new one every year since on this trailer. 12s, PA 12s and Outbacks, they all fit the same bunk setup. The new Outback did not fit. I mean, not even close. It was enough that I could strap it down and get it home, but it wasn't a good way to support the kayak. And that really highlighted the difference in the bottom of the hull. Let me see if I can make it apparent on video. Okay, from roughly the center of that one bunk to the center of this one in the back, I mean it tapers down. So these are rough measurements, but I've got 13 and a quarter from center to center. Center to center on the 2019, I've got 10 and a half. Quite a bit different. Now remember, we said the outside of the kayaks were virtually identical. And yet the bunks here are narrower. That means these pontoons, the part where you're getting your buoyancy when you're standing, are quite a bit wider. The outside's the same. This got narrower. That means this hull line on the pontoons had to come in. That's huge in regard to the amount of water you're displacing, which gives you your stability. Pretty cool. So, I don't know if you can see, but that is my old hole that held the bunk. That's the new one by my pinky. These taper, 13 there, 10 and a half, 2.5 inches different. Okay. So from that one to this one, 2.5 inches different in the back. In the middle, it's probably even more accentuated. That's pretty cool. Okay, so as you can see, I'm running out of daylight. I just want to walk through some of the features that they've added to the 2019 that really make it a whole lot more fishable. We've got H-rails built in. When you look across to the 2017, I had to add those H-rails myself. I could have gone with T-tracks or some other way, but A-trails are so handy, I just added them. And I can put rod holders on there and locators and whatever. But on this one, it comes with A-trails built in. It comes with this nice cubby on each side, and I use that. I've got soft plastic bags in there. Whatever they're biting on is laying in there. Reading glasses so I can tie knots. And it's like that on both sides. Also, if you can see that, that's a T-track inside of the A-trail. So if you're coming from another kayak manufacturer and you've got all your T-track gear and you don't want to spend money buying all new mounts and hardware and stuff, they bolt right on. This also is T-track area. You've got bungees to grab onto stuff, places to put pliers, front and back, both sides. As I mentioned, nice big square hatch. It's extra deep. You can, and I do, put a lot of stuff in there. Rudder control. It's spring loaded. The 2017 had an up for the rudder, and on the other side a down. It's all in one because it's spring loaded now. So what is this one, you might ask? This one is if you have a side scan transducer. It tucks up inside the hull now. When you use it, you drop it down. All right, check this out. Down, up. Not impressive? Watch from underneath. Back deck, similar to the front. It's not an A-trail here, but if you want to use the T-tracks, you can. I did. The Anchor Wizard comes with its own T-track hardware. I used 2 of them. One there, and was able to select my holes and keep it inside the hull line for paddling. No drilling holes, no nothing. Bam, done. In the back, A-trail off the back. Makes for a really nice handle. Quite an improvement over the rope handle, especially as you get older and tendonitis sets in and all that. Boo-hoo, right? But this, a lot easier to hang on to. And Hobie makes these universal A-trail mounts. I think I got the name right for that. I always keep a handful of these around. My rod holders in the front are mounted to universal A-trail brackets. And I used 2 screws on the Anchor Wizard track. And that seems to be plenty for what I'm doing. Didn't need to drill any holes back here. Drilled 2 holes in my universal A-trail bracket. Mounted the Anchor Wizard track. It works great. I don't drive down the highway. You can see there is some flex on that. I wouldn't drive down the highway and subject this to all the vibration in the road and jars from potholes and stuff. I take the anchor and I clip it to a carabiner right here when I'm traveling. Takes all the stress off of that bracket. On the water, there's no vibration, everything's smooth, no issues. That works great. And I didn't have to drill any holes in my kayak. It's beautiful. So, I'm almost reluctant to do this part, but it wouldn't be an honest review if all I told you was the good things. There are a few things that bug me a little, but I love this boat. I've learned to overcome those few things, and here they are. The first thing is this hatch. It's a little smaller than the other one. I don't need to go through the dimensions, but it's smaller. I do some camping out of these, and I like to stuff what I can in here. This is going to limit what I can put in the front. Inside there's as much room as there ever was, but getting the stuff through the opening was always the hard part. Not a showstopper, just one thing that, a little bit of a drawback for what I use my kayak for. Another thing that annoys me a little, the rudder. I love this thing on the water. This turns on a dime. Rudder control is better on the 2019 than it is on that one. It's not bad on that one. This thing is amazing in how it turns. But when you're trying to move the kayak, if you lift the front at all and you're dragging this across grass or gravel, you look at the edge is chewed up already. That was my learning curve in learning how to move this boat. It's got a skid plate here, but this still ends up taking the brunt if you lift the front even a little. It comes with this piece. This snaps in here and protects it while you pick up the front. I've had to learn to bring this with and use it. Once you get the wheels under the boat, everything's good. But dragging this thing on land without the wheels and getting it on the wheels without this, as you can see, you can damage this rudder. I'll give you a closer look at it right there. The other thing, give you another look at the transducer hole. Remember that transducer is designed to go up and down. Again, in the water, it's beautiful. If you hit something, it just springs up out of the way. You want it out of the way, you lift it up out of the way. On land, if you try to drag this, even if you put a rope on the front and try to drag it flat, that's digging in like a plow. This thing is hard to move on land. Again, bring the wheels, get the wheels under it as soon as you can. In the water, it's beautiful. Off the water, I do have a little problem with it. Overall, the thing's fantastic, and I love it, and I would recommend it to anyone. Yeah.